You know what's funny?
When he let you go, he thought he was making the strong choice, the right choice, the I'll be fine without her choice. At that moment, he convinced himself he could handle the silence, that the nights wouldn't feel so empty, that your absence wouldn't echo in his chest. But here's what no one tells you. The real pain doesn't hit him immediately. It creeps in, slow, silent, ruthless.
Because when a good woman walks away,
When you walk away, you don't just leave with your smile, your laughter, your kindness. You take the warmth, you take the stability, you take the version of him that only existed when he was with you. And for a while, he distracts himself. New faces, parties, friends telling him you're better off. But deep down, it starts to gnaw at him. The realization he let go of something irreplaceable. He scrolls through old pictures, listens to songs that remind him of late night talks, thinks about the way you challenged him, supported him, believed in him. And now it's killing him because pride feels good for a moment, but regret lingers. Regret keeps you awake at 2 a.m., staring at the ceiling, wondering, what the hell did I do? And you stayed silent. You didn't beg. You didn't chase. You respected yourself enough to walk away when you couldn't see your worth. And that strength, it haunts him because deep down, he knows he didn't lose you because you weren't enough. He lost you because he wasn't ready to be enough for you. So let him sit with that. Let him face the storm he created. Let him feel the emptiness he thought he could outrun. Because trust me, he let you go, but it's killing him now. Letting you go was his pride, but also his biggest mistake. You know, here's the thing about walking away. It terrifies people, but not always in the moment. See, when he let you go, when he decided to push you away, ignore the connection, bury his feelings, or tell himself you weren't the one, in that moment, he felt powerful. He told himself a story that made him feel in control. A story that said, I've got this figured out. I can do better. I'll be fine without her. And the truth is, it wasn't even really about you. It was about him trying to convince himself he was stronger than he was. Because walking away on the surface feels like the decision of the strong. It feels like control. It feels like independence. But underneath all that, it's fear in disguise. It's ego dressed up as clarity. What people don't understand, what he didn't understand, is that real strength isn't found in pushing good people away. It's not found in pretending you don't care, shutting down, or thinking you can swap out something meaningful for temporary distractions. Real strength, that's being able to recognize when you found someone rare and choosing to show up for it, choosing to fight for it, choosing to grow for it. But he wasn't ready for that kind of strength. So instead, he reached for the easier option. Pride feels good for about 5 minutes. It feels good when you're sitting with your friends, acting like you've got your life figured out. It feels good when you tell yourself, there's always someone else. There's always another option. But let me tell you something. That feeling, it fades. And when the party's over, when the room is quiet, when the bed feels just a little too big and the silence gets a little too loud, that's when reality kicks in. That's when the story he told himself starts to fall apart. Suddenly, all those little things you brought into his life, the laughter, the way you understood him, the safety he felt around you, they're not so easy to replace. And the version of him that felt his best, his most alive, his most himself, that version left when you did. See, pride makes you think you're choosing strength, but often all you're doing is choosing to run away from vulnerability. He let you go thinking it made him strong. But now it's killing him. Because the strongest thing he could have done was stay. The bravest thing he could have done was try. But he didn't. And now when he looks in the mirror, all he sees is the cost of that choice. And no amount of pride can cover that up. You know what most people get completely wrong about heartbreak? They think it's instant. They imagine that the second you walk away, the other person is sitting there shattered, broken, filled with regret. But that's not how it works, especially for him. See, for a while, he feels fine. He even tells himself he's better off. He plays it cool. He goes out. He distracts himself. Maybe there's someone new in the picture. Maybe there isn't. But either way, he's convinced himself that life goes on. And you're sitting there thinking, how is he okay? How can he just move on like that? But trust me, he's not really okay. He just doesn't know it yet. Because the pain, it doesn't hit him all at once. It creeps in quietly, slowly. It shows up when the distractions wear off. When he's sitting at home alone, when the texts stop coming in, when the nights feel longer than they used to. Suddenly, the silence that once felt like freedom, it feels empty. That's the part he didn't prepare for. He thought letting you go was a clean break, that life would just click back into place. That real connections don't work like that. You don't get to walk away from someone meaningful and expect it not to follow you. It starts small. A song that reminds him of you playing on the radio, an old photo popping up on his phone, driving past that restaurant you both loved. At first, he brushes it off, but slowly those moments stack up. They build, they dig into him. And here's the thing, the deeper it gets, the harder it becomes to outrun. He'll try, believe me, he'll try. He'll distract himself with work, with friends, maybe even with other women. But late at night, when it's quiet, when the world stops long enough for him to be alone with his thoughts, that's when it hits. The realization that he let go of something real, that your love wasn't ordinary, that no one has filled the space you left behind. And suddenly, all that pride, all that false confidence, it starts to crack. See, people can numb themselves for a while. They can pretend they don't feel the loss, but the truth always catches up. And for him, it's catching up now. That pain he thought he could avoid, it's here, and it's relentless. So if you're sitting there wondering why it feels like he's okay while you're hurting, just give it time, because the pain, it doesn't hit him immediately. But when it does, it doesn't let go. And the worst part, he'll know it's entirely his fault. Here's what most people completely overlook when they walk away from someone like you. It's not just your presence they lose. It's not just the dates, the conversations, the fun moments. No, it goes so much deeper than that. When you left, you didn't just take your time. You took your peace. You took your warmth. You took that quiet stability you brought into his life, the thing he didn't even realize he was depending on until it was gone. See, when you're with someone, especially when you're the kind of woman who shows up with real love, patience, understanding, you create a safe space. And a lot of guys, they don't even recognize that space exists until it's ripped away. Because while you were there, things made sense. He felt seen. Even on his worst days, he had a place to land. Your words, your energy, the way you believed in him, that's the stuff that held him together in ways he didn't fully appreciate. But when you walked, when you finally said, I'm done, I'm not staying where I'm not valued, suddenly the walls came crashing down. It's like, imagine living in a house. You don't always notice how warm it is inside when it's winter outside. You just expect the heat to be there. You take it for granted. But the moment that heat shuts off, suddenly the cold creeps in and you feel it everywhere. That's exactly what happened when you left. He thought he could handle the cold. He thought your warmth was optional. But now he realizes it wasn't just your smile. It wasn't just your time. It was the version of himself that only existed when he was with you. Because you didn't just make his life better. You made him better. You challenged him, supported him, made him feel capable, grounded, and wanted. And without that, without you, he feels lost. But here's the cruel part of all of this. He only sees it now. Now that it's too late, now that the house is cold, now that the space where your love once lived feels empty. So don't for a second think you were easy to replace. You weren't. You're not. And he knows it. He knows it every time he looks for that peace in someone else and doesn't find it. Every time the silence feels heavier than it used to. You didn't just leave, you took the light with you, and the hardest part for him, realizing that was his choice.
You know what pride is? It's a cheap thrill. It's that quick little hit of satisfaction that makes you feel powerful for about 5 minutes. And that's exactly what happened when he let you go.
In that moment, his pride was running the show. He told himself, I don't need her, I'm fine, I can do better, I'll be okay. His friends probably cheered him on. They told him he was making the right call, that there's a whole world out there, that maybe you were too much or not enough, or whatever convenient story they could sell him to protect his ego. And for a while, he believed it. Pride makes you believe you're invincible. It gives you that false confidence that convinces you the world is yours to control, that you can walk away from something real and not feel the consequences. But here's the reality. Pride doesn't last. It fades fast. And when it does, that's when regret sneaks in, quiet but brutal. Because regret doesn't knock on your door right away. It waits. It waits until the distractions wear off, until the nights get quiet, until the people hyping you up have gone home, and suddenly it's just you, your thoughts, and that gnawing feeling deep in your chest. That's where he is now. See, pride felt good when he made the decision to let you go. It felt good when he convinced himself you'd come running back, or that someone better would magically appear. But now the pride has dried up, and all he's left with is the echo of your absence and the weight of his mistake.
Regret is different.
Regret lingers. It plays on repeat. It shows him all the moments where he could have done better, where he could have chosen growth over fear, love over ego. And the worst part, regret shows him you. It shows him your smile, your support, your patience, all the pieces of you he once thought were replaceable. But they weren't, and they aren't. And now he knows that. But by the time regret shows up, it's already too late. You've moved on, you've built your life, you've found your peace. And that's the part that hits the hardest, because deep down he realizes he wasn't strong for letting you go. He was scared, he was lost, he thought walking away was power, but all it really did was rob him of something real. And now, regret is his only companion, and no amount of pride can save him from that. You know what really messes with him now? It's not your words, it's not even your absence, it's your silence, your self-respect. The fact that you didn't beg, you didn't plead, you didn't chase after him when he let you go. See, most people expect drama. They expect the tears, the phone calls, the late night texts that say, please, can we talk? That's what his ego was prepared for. He thought you'd crumble, that you'd fight for him, that you couldn't possibly walk away that easily. But you did. And that shook him more than anything you could have said, because your silence, it screamed louder than any words ever could. It told him everything he needed to know, that you value yourself, that you weren't going to stay where you weren't seen, that your worth wasn't up for negotiation. And let me tell you something about men like him. They notice that. They might not admit it. They might act like they're unaffected. But deep down, that quiet confidence, it haunts them, because suddenly he's forced to sit with the reality that you're not chasing him. You're not waiting around. You're not sitting by the phone hoping he changes his mind. You're living your life. You're moving forward. You're showing him and the world that losing you was his mistake to live with. And trust me, that realization, it hits hard. There's nothing more powerful than walking away with your dignity intact. And that's exactly what you did. You didn't get drawn into the chaos. You didn't settle for breadcrumbs. You didn't shrink yourself, beg for attention, or lower your standards just to keep someone who wasn't ready for you. And now that image of you, strong, silent, graceful, follows him everywhere. It's in the songs, in the places you used to go, in the quiet moments when he's alone with his thoughts. Your silence became his loudest reminder. And while he's stuck with regret, questioning himself, wondering if he made the biggest mistake of his life, you're over here showing him that you never needed him to define your worth. So never underestimate the power of walking away, not with bitterness, not with anger, but with quiet strength. Because that kind of silence, it lingers, it stays with him. And long after the pride fades, long after the distractions lose their thrill, your self-respect is what he'll remember. And trust me, that's what's haunting him now. The hardest thing for him to admit, the thing that keeps him awake at night, is the simple truth that you were never the problem. You were never lacking. You weren't too much. You weren't not enough. You were exactly what you were supposed to be. Real, loyal, present, ready. But him, he wasn't ready. And now, with the space and the silence between you, he's starting to see it. It's like waking up from a fog and realizing what he had and what he lost. Because you weren't ordinary. You weren't replaceable. You weren't just another face or another option. You were the one who showed up when it mattered. You were the one who stood beside him when he was unsure, when life was messy, when his insecurities showed and he couldn't see it. Or maybe he saw it, but it scared the hell out of him. Because love like that, it demands growth. It demands honesty. It demands him to meet you where you're at. And maybe he knew deep down that he wasn't ready to be that version of himself. So he did what people do when they're afraid. He let you go. He convinced himself it was for the best, that maybe you weren't the right one, that maybe the timing was wrong, that maybe he needed space to figure things out. But now he's sitting with the reality that the only thing standing between him and happiness was him, his fear, his pride, his inability to step up. And trust me, that realization cuts deeper than any breakup ever could. Because it's one thing to lose someone because it wasn't right. It's another thing entirely to lose someone because you couldn't recognize their worth when they were standing right in front of you. And that's what's killing him now, because life keeps moving. And so do you. You're growing, glowing, becoming stronger. And every step you take forward, every moment you live unapologetically without him, it's a reminder of what he gave up. See, he thought he could replace you. He thought love was easy to find, that your patience, your kindness, your belief in him, those things would show up again somewhere else. But now he knows, now he feels it. That empty space, it's not getting filled. That peace you brought, it's gone. And the most painful part, he can't undo it. He can't rewind time. He can't force you to stay. So let him sit with that. Let him carry that regret. Because while he's busy realizing what he lost, you're over here realizing what you deserve. And that's how you win.